The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to Human Rights and Justice for All. I'm your host, Greg Malone, and I'd just like to say if you'd like to contact the show today, you can call in at 561-623-9429. That number again is 561-623-9429. Or you can Skype in at W4CY. Just add it to your contacts. Chad will hook you up, and you can get online with us. I have a special show today. I have Jennifer Bowen of the Iowa Right to Life. She is the executive director, and it is a great privilege to have her on our show. I'd just like to say hi, Jennifer, and you can just share anything you'd like.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are we breaking up a little bit, Chad?
Are we already? Oh, I hope not. Is that better?
No, you're on now.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me on today. You know, it's always a pleasure for me and an honor to be able to just talk about what I'm the most passionate about. And that sounds like it really dovetails with your show, and that's just human rights and justice for all. And we believe that absolutely includes the lives of the unborn.
Great. I know that it's a very important topic, near and dear to my heart. I am very passionate about this subject, and I'd like to, raise awareness of this evil. As I think it was Marion Beecher Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, and she raised awareness of slavery. And in the same way, I'd like to raise the awareness of abortion. So, do you have any events coming up that you'd like to share with the people listening?
Well, we actually, sometimes people think that we sort of take it easy in the summer and kick back, and that is absolutely the opposite of what we do. We are across the state of Iowa currently in county fairs. We got into the Iowa State Fair for the first time this year, and we're actually there this last weekend and all of this week. And why that's important for us is apparently, who knew, the Iowa State Fair is one of the top 10 places in the United States to visit. It's crazy. And so we have over 1 million people that walk through the state fair in this 10-day period. And this is actually the first year that we were able to get in. For many years, the Iowa State Fair Board rejected our application for a couple different reasons, stated reasons. And for whatever reason, this year we got in. And so we have been in that booth since last Thursday. We're there till Sunday. And we have talked to just countless people, both from Iowa and from several other states, people that just have absolutely no awareness, not because they're not trying to be aware, but because, you know this, the mainstream media and all are not telling the story, and certainly the abortion industry is not telling the story of how prevalent they want to make abortion. And so we're out there with smiles and conversations, and we give away little fetal models, babies that are about 12 weeks in the womb, and people are just absolutely stunned by the humanity of the unborn. They are stunned by how developed a baby already is so early on in a pregnancy. And so it's been a lot of fun to just interact with people of all ages. Last night I had another conversation with a woman about some things that are going on here in Iowa, and a self-professing pro-choice woman who, when I told her the truth of what was happening here in Iowa with what we call webcam abortions, and we can touch on that in a minute, she was just stunned and devastated for the lack of regard that Planned Parenthood of the Heartland especially has for women, and signed our petition to stop webcam abortions in Iowa. And so these are the conversations that we have literally, I'd like to say, on a daily basis, just raising awareness, not just of the dangers to women that abortion is, both physically and emotionally, but also, again, just driving home the humanity of the unborn.
Right. That's great information. I know in the media you don't really hear anything about abortion until you get a Dr. Kermit Godsnell murdering babies. And also, I'd like to draw attention to your petition that you're doing. You're going to be meeting with the Board of Medicine on August the 28th here in Iowa, and I'd like to give people the ability to go to that petition and sign it. Could you give them information on that?
Sure. You can visit our website, which is iowartl.org. You can send us an email. That email address is iowa@iowartl.org. And our 800 number is 877-595-9406. And I'd like to say that we did turn in about 20,000 signatures that we've collected the last few years, literally of concerned people that wanted better, both for women and for unborn babies. And we turned about 20,000 signatures into the Iowa Board of Medicine about 3-4 weeks ago. And since then, I've been collecting more signatures to turn into them prior to the public hearing meeting that we'll be having on August 28th. And it's so exciting to see. We've already collected several thousand in just a couple of weeks, again, of people who had no idea and want to be a part of it. So I really thank you for putting it out there. We are collecting signatures from people that are inside of the state of Iowa as well as outside, because what their plan is with these webcam abortions, and I'll describe that, their plan is to, not necessarily go with the old mantra of abortion safe, legal, and rare. This is about abortion on demand and without apology, which is really what their mantra has become. We've seen that play out in places like Texas and North Carolina as they worked in recent days to pass even late-term abortion bills to stop infanticide, sort of as a response to the Kermit Gosnells of the world and taking a look at what was happening in their states. And so this is about what's happening here in Iowa really affects the country, because what happened here in about 2008 was, unbeknownst to us and the general public at the time, the Planned Parenthood of the Heartland, Jill June, who is a very good businesswoman, very entrepreneurial, she was watching a CSI program. And on that CSI program, apparently they were talking about telemedicine. And her thought while watching that show was, well, why can't we do this with abortion? We could absolutely not need to have a doctor present to do the abortions in some capacity over the Internet. And so that devolved into, right now we have well over a dozen Planned Parenthoods across the state of Iowa, where a girl can walk in and into any number of clinics, whether in the metro locations or in rural locations, sit down in front of a camera, a webcam, talk to the abortionist over the camera who's either across town or across the state, and talk to the doctor over the Internet. The non-medical clinic staff will then do a transvaginal ultrasound on the girl to determine the size of the baby. Once the transmitted that picture, he or she push a button where located.
Okay, Jennifer, you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if we're losing something on the line or...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. So what happens when that doctor pushes that button is a drawer will pop open where the girl is, and in that drawer is the chemical abortion set, RU486. She will be instructed to take the first set of pills in front of the camera, and then she'll take the second set of pills home, take that set of pills 24 to 48 hours later. So essentially she'll have the abortion at home or school or church or the mall, wherever she's located. They're doing these abortions in Iowa up to the end of the 9th week or 63 days into pregnancy. And so you've got a little baby, it's about an inch and a half perhaps, fully developed, just needing time to grow. These women are, like I said, aborting at home and then left to deal with the body of their baby and all of that. And so it's really been a frightening time because, you know, we've always known since the beginning of the abortion rights movement that the lack of regard for women and certainly for unborn babies is just horrific. This takes it to a whole nother level of lack of care for women, as well as, you know this, and that there's no good way to kill a baby. And so whether it's a chemical abortion or whether it's a late-term abortion, that baby suffers. And so what our desire has been in collecting these 20,000 signatures and counting is that we literally look in the eyes of as many people as we can, have as many radio interviews and television interviews when that occurs, to tell the truth, because we certainly can't rely on the media or the abortion industry to tell the truth of what's going on here in Iowa.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know the media is biased, totally biased, including our local paper here in Des Moines, Iowa, who refuses to cover parts of this.
Refuses, and then seemingly these last several months, I mean, we've never really had an ally in them, but there's just some very unbiased reporter writing, and unbiased meaning, or I shouldn't say unbiased, I apologize, biased writing for the abortion industry in Iowa. It's they will listen to the testimony of girls with complications. They will listen to me talk about girls who have brought their babies back into the clinic or flushed them into the West Des Moines sewer or whatever, and their eyes just roll back in their head and they write, glowing reports for Planned Parenthood, and it's devastating. It's physically it makes one physically ill, the lack of regard that we have for human life. And the reporters, whether it was, the lack of coverage with Kermit Gosnell or what's happening here in Iowa and around the country, the lack of reporting, we know that one day they're going to have to give an answer for the reporting that they did not do.
That's correct. And one of the things I'd like to really point out on today's show is that when one day we are judged by our Maker, we are judged as much as for what we did do and what we did not do. Jesus said that if you saw someone naked, hungry, in prison, sick, and you didn't meet their needs, and he said, inasmuch as you've done it unto the least of these, your brethren, you've done it unto me. So what we leave undone, including standing up for children and babies and against infanticide, we will be judged for that. And hopefully everybody out there is doing their part, talking to their neighbors, talking to friends. And when you find out a young lady is pregnant and you have any influence in that young lady's life, speak up. Go to them with compassion and with love and talk to them about the baby that's growing inside them and that it needs protection from its mother. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to point out something I pointed out in an earlier show about the Unborn Victims of Violence Act. And I touched in the conversation with you yesterday, Jennifer, on this. It's Public Law 108-212. And you can look this up on Wikipedia. It's right on the internet. Just type in either